Sid coming to town tomorrow. Just a thought on how he's continually just playing at such a high level, I guess. What you've gotten to know him after a few years, what is it about him that just continues to raise the bar?
I would say he just loves it, loves playing, loves competing, seems like he loves everything about it. And, when you love it, pretty easy to show up and work and continue to get better even at his age. So, as I say, it's amazing to see. He's doing it again this year. Amazing to watch.
When you got to play with him at the Four Nations, what rubbed off from him to you, or is there something that kind of rubs off on the group, seeing the way he kind of handles himself on a day-to-day basis?
Again, I'll go back to just how much he just loves it, loves being at the rink, loves practice, loves working at his game. He just, he really has an appreciation for it, and I think that's contagious, obviously,
I know you guys waited a long time to play together, but what was that like, and what's it going to be like at the Olympics playing with a guy like this?
I'm obviously very excited about it. My idol growing up. So to be able to play with him and represent our country together on the biggest stage, it's exciting.
We've been asking you about this for years, and I'm sure you're bored with it. Does it change, though? You played with him once, you're going to play with him at the Olympics finally after all these years. Like, does the Sid kind of thing, do you look at it a little different now? The Olympics are coming, and you're going to play on the same team.
Yeah, it's nice to answer a question about playing together as opposed to always, playing against them. And obviously the Olympics, with it being the Olympics, the biggest sporting event in the world, to be able to represent our country on a bigger level than just our sport, as Team Canada as a whole, it's special. I know all those guys that were picked to represent that team or to play for that team and represent our country are all proud to wear the flag.
What about even play with a guy like MacKinnon, right? Like closer to your age, and probably the two fastest guys in the league. It's funny, both fast in different ways, right? You got the opportunity to play with him, and what's the appreciation level like when you see someone up close, maybe as a teammate that's different than an opponent?
Yeah, I think obviously with Nate, just so explosive. I think that's the thing that pops out is just how powerful he is. And getting to see that up close and personal in practice, it's always fun. Remember even at the Four Nations, the first couple of practices it was fun just to see guys and watch them and how they move, how they work. Those practices become very, very fun. And obviously Nate is somebody that, his power just jumps off the screen and jumps off the ice. So amazing to watch.
Once the team was announced, we were all looking and making line combinations. It wouldn't be cool to see this guy with this guy. Do players do that as well? Do you look at that and say, hey, I'd like to play with this guy?
Yeah, probably. On a more realistic level, not fantasy hockey. So, we want to build a team that's going to win, and there's so many great players on that team. No matter how you put the lineup together, it's going to be a good team. But with that being said, it's a quick tournament, and you got to get up and running fast, and you want to have a little bit of familiarity with your line mates. So I guess there's an advantage to playing that tournament last year.
You got Celebrini coming in here later next week. What were you thought of him? And he kind of came out of nowhere to make that team. I think just having an unbelievable season.
He's having a great year. Young guy that it's fun to watch, exciting to watch. Obviously they're a team that's feeling pretty good about themselves. They have a good thing going, a good vibe about them. So pretty impressive to see. That whole team come together.
Your team here, you've basically remade your goaltending department here in the last month. I know Calvin Picker's still here, of course, but maybe just talk to us about the dynamic when you go from this two goalie system to two other goalies. How does it change the team? How does it change the outlook? What's new?
Obviously just two new guys in the room. First and foremost, that has a big impact on the dressing room itself. I think both guys have stepped in and played really well. They give us a chance every night to win a game. So that part of it's exciting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, new guys in the room, different gear, I guess. I don't know, but they're two good goalies that can play and give us a chance to win.
Better numbers. Like your numbers are way better in the last month. Is that the team?
Well, I think the team's playing better. The team's been playing better. The team has played a little bit more soundly, I would say. So that always helps. Goaltending kind of goes with how the team goes. There is obviously some room to make a difference, and they've done that. They've both done that. So credit to them.